Jamie, you're a fan of motorcycles, right?
Ever since I was 16.
Really? They've had motorcycles that long?
Here we go.
Okay. There is a trend apparently going on where people, including fans of MythBusters, are trading in their cars and driving motorcycles instead because they believe that's the more environmentally friendly choice.
And what's their logic?
Their logic is simply that because motorcycles are generally more fuel efficient than cars, they burn less gas and thus they must be better for the environment.
Sounds sensible.
But there are people that say not only is that not true, they claim that motorcycles pollute far worse than cars.
Well, that sounds like something we need to investigate.
I totally agree.
There's no doubt both cars and bikes produce gases that can be harmful to the environment. And supposedly being smaller and using less fuel means that bikes produce less. So is there fuel to this fire? Are motorcycles a greener machine than cars?
Well, clearly this involves getting a bunch of different cars and motorcycles, testing them and comparing the results, right?
Right, but which ones? I mean, there's tens of thousands of makes and models of each. What do we choose?
Well, why don't we get some of the most popular models of the last 3 decades?
A representative sample, right. Some cars and bikes from the 80s, the 90s, and the noughties. The noughties are 2000 till 2010. That sounds like a perfect way to do this.
Well, let's get our hands dirty.
Okay.
Whoa, where are we?
This will be our base of operations. Let's walk you through the particulars.
These are our test cars. We've got a car from the 80s, a car from the 90s, and a car from the noughties. We've also got some motorcycles. We've got one from the 80s, one from the 90s, and one from the noughties. We've chosen them based on their popularity within their respective decades.
And obviously for this test, all those cars and bikes are going to do some driving.
There is literally nothing fancy about the route we'll be driving today. No tricky maneuvers, no extreme road conditions. It is simply a 30-minute drive spread out over 20 miles and split 75% freeway driving and 25% city driving.
So how are we going to measure our emissions? Well, that's where these guys come in. They're from the Clean Air Technologies division of Global MRV, and they've brought with them something called the PEMS, or Portable Emissions Measuring System. And basically, you know when you take your car in to get it smogged? Well, that's what the PEMS does, except it's more accurate in its real world, because you put it in the vehicle, you stick a probe in the exhaust, you hook it up to the engine, and you drive the car or the motorcycle around for a while, and voila, instant data.
Instant data, that is all important for this test. The PEMS will track every kind of emission, including the greenhouse gas carbon dioxide, the smog-causing carbon monoxide, and the nasty oxides of nitrogen.
The numbers we get should be precise enough to allow us to call whether the motorcycles or the cars are better for the environment.
And with 6 vehicles, that's a lot of driving.
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. All right, here we go.
But thanks to the wonders of non-linear editing,
Okay, this is bike versus car.
the 30-minute test for the 80s,
80s pollution test in 3,
90s,
2,
and noughties
1, go.
can take place simultaneously.
And we're off. Dun, 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 dun. A left turn takes us into the neighborhood where we can do some city driving. Jamie's keeping up nicely. Everyone's going roughly the same speed. Test is going perfect.
Everything is going perfectly. And Adam's running commentary gives us a very special insight.
Ooh, I just burped and taste a little bit of my lunch, enchiladas.
As the guys gather their data,
I must say I never quite understood the dogs in sweaters thing. I mean, they're cute as blazes, but I like petting my dog. I don't like petting a sweater. I'm really glad we had this time alone that we can talk.
after a few minutes of city driving, the freeway portion of the testing begins.
I am driving for scientific testing on the freeway in Northern California. I'm followed by Jamie and following a police car to gather the pollution data.
This monologue, it's not even half crazy. It's like full crazy.
Full crazy. And there is one preoccupation that plagues Adam as he drives.
You'll notice at this point in the drive I haven't picked my nose yet. That's on purpose. I still have not picked my nose on camera. I hope you appreciate my self-restraint. Oh, is that a nose pick? Did you catch a nose pick on camera? That was more like a swipe, but technically the tip of my finger did enter my nose. Oh, another one. Oh my God, it's happened.
While Adam's been keeping himself entertained, a traditionally stoic Jamie has been putting the bikes through their paces. Eventually, after 30 minutes in each vehicle, the testing comes to a close, and Adam finishes how he began.
We've been driving on the freeway, testing our emissions in motorcycles and the car.
Thank you very much. After a full day of driving, we've done 3 runs with 6 vehicles and collected 24 separate points of data. Home sweet home. There we go. So that's it?
Yeah.
It's time to head back to the shop and see what it means.
The MythBusters have been behind the wheel and in the saddle to find out which is greener, the car or the bike. And finally, the data is in. So after some swift consulting, equating, and calculating, the guys have the emissions verdict.
After running the numbers and looking at the outputs of pollutant gases from all the vehicles and getting some expert analysis from Professor Kent Johnson of the University of California, Riverside, we came up with some surprising results.
First up in the MythBusters motorcycle versus car data crunch is fuel efficiency.
Across all of the vehicles, the results were consistent. Motorcycles use less fuel than cars.
Which makes sense. Motorcycles are lighter than cars, and thus they require less energy to push themselves forward.
And you'd think that using less fuel would make them better for the environment.
But you'd be wrong. From an emissions standpoint, let's take a look at the most populous of the gases that these vehicles put out, carbon dioxide.
It's nasty. It's a greenhouse gas, so it contributes to global warming, and it makes up 90% of the emissions of an internal combustion engine.
And because it's a direct byproduct of burning fuel, motorcycles, which burn less fuel, consistently produced less carbon dioxide than cars. But the other pollutant gases we measured tell a totally different story.
Hydrocarbons, for example, cause smog, cancer, asthma, emphysema, and a host of other nasties, and motorcycles produce far more than cars.
Oxides of nitrogen, responsible for smog, lung ailments, and acid rain. Motorcycles produced up to 3,200% more than cars.
And carbon monoxide is an air pollutant and poisonous for animals to breathe. Well, motorcycles produce up to 8,000% more than cars.
In summary, while we found that motorcycles were more fuel efficient than cars and put out a lot less carbon dioxide, the amount of polluting gases they put out was vastly worse.
This myth is about someone that traded their car for a motorcycle because they believed it was better for the environment.
And they were wrong. At best, it's a wash. Motorcycles are just as bad for the environment as cars. At worst, they're far worse.
Yep, the data doesn't lie. The cars are cleaner, but bikes and MythBusters go way back, and they're not done yet. By combining Heinemann ingenuity with savage savvy, they're taking this myth to the max.
Now that is a cool looking design.
Can they put bikes back on track by creating the ultimate clean green machine?
It's starting to look sexy. So for the oxides of nitrogen, the hydrocarbons, and the carbon monoxide, the bikes put out more pollution than the cars, but somehow I don't feel like you're done with this story.
No, I'm not, and here's why. Ultimately, the amount of pollution that comes out of a bike has to be related to the amount of fuel that goes into it. And while it's true that bikes are lighter and smaller than cars, and so they use less fuel, they'd use even less if they were more aerodynamic.
Right, the fact is that bikes are totally aerodynamically inefficient. That upright rider presents a huge block to the wind. They're not designed like cars to slip through the air.
Exactly, and so what I'm wondering is if we made a bike super streamlined, could we reduce its fuel usage to such a degree that it would actually beat the fuel pollution standards of cars.
You want to build a super streamlined bike and put it to the test.
I do.
I love it. Let's do it.
The plan is to create an aerodynamically efficient bike. And for that, the MythBusters fire up the old gray cells for one heck of a brainstorm.
So, making one of those super aerodynamically efficient, how do we do it?
Well, it's got to be some kind of a shell, and it's got to be lightweight and pretty much got to cover the whole thing.
In this concept cyclone,
Something like a teardrop with the bike in the middle.
a whole load of ideas are thrown up in the air.
I was thinking more like a tuna, where the tip can be a little bit more pointed. It's kind of like an igloo. What if this thing was like a big sphere?
And just like lightning, one idea strikes them as the best way to go.
I'm actually getting kind of excited about this because motorcycles are these wonderfully kind of macho things. And I see this kind of idea of a comet or a fireball kind of a thing as being really pretty sexy.
The center of the sphere obviously has to be the center of the pivot. Then the thing does not change shape.
Right,
Whether you're
exactly,
turning or not.
Which I love.
As the storm clears, the guys have worked out all the elements.
These are steel.
Like ribs.
Yeah, secure it, and then you cut out an access port sized door. These would be covered by heat shrink.
And have not just a design, but a plan too.
Now that is a cool looking design. I've never seen anything like that before.
If we did this, and we did this in the tubular steel, it's a really nice divide and conquer design.
I love it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
After a tremendous amount of back and forth, we have a plan, and that is it. With a little bit of bent tube steel, some heat shrink plastic, and a couple of dozen hours, I think we'll have our bike fairing.
I'm followed by Jamie and following a police car to gather the pollution data.
It seems that cars have the edge on bikes when it comes to being green.
We found that motorcycles were more fuel efficient than cars and put out a lot less carbon dioxide. The amount of polluting gases they put out was vastly worse.
So now the guys are creating a super streamlined motorcycle to increase its fuel efficiency and minimize its emissions.
Now, a lot of bikes normally have fairings on them, which are plastic cowlings that cover the front portion of the bike to reduce wind resistance. In our case, we're going to get considerably more involved, however, and we're going to build a fairing that covers the entire bike, its passenger included.
A little more crouchy than that.
This device will cocoon the cyclist inside, making it more aerodynamic, greener, and eco-competition for the car.
This is our stripped-down bike, and very soon a bunch of steel like this is going to make the frame for our fairing. And the frame is going to be comprised of two parts. One is large overarching circle, which Jamie is going to ring roll, and a bunch of horizontal ellipses, which I'm going to hand bend with a conduit bender.
Getting the steel frame perfect is crucial, as the design literally hangs off of it.
I love bending metal.
Soon, what starts out as a series of bent steel rods is welded together to become one half of the fairing.
Wow. That is a pretty thing.
It is, isn't it?
I don't care what it's for. It's just plain lovely.
Yeah, let's make a whole bunch of them.
A little more measuring, welding, and bending, and they've got what looks like a giant hamster ball.
That is freaking sexy, man.
More surface area, but it's smoother.
Oh yeah, totally.
With the sphere complete, they cut out the part where the bike will go.
I like it.
When I was a kid, I would have killed for one of these. Were you ever a kid?
No.
And since the bike fits snugly, it's time for the Comet to get its tail.
How about that?
That is freaking awesome. It's starting to look sexy.
It's kind of different, you know?
You know what I realized it is? It's one of the space pods from 2001.
Oh yeah, I was trying to place it.
Dude, that is insane. It looks awesome.
It's perfect.
I don't think we could have made it any narrower, tighter. Really, there's almost nothing wasted in this shape. It's a perfect teardrop.
A perfect teardrop. But there's just one more thing to complete their aerodynamic design.
So this frame that we've spent all this time building isn't what makes this bike more aerodynamic. It's actually the skin we put on top of this frame that will do all of that work. And this is our skin. It is a roughly clear plastic that shrinks when you heat it. So we're going to put it all over this frame. Then we're going to heat it with a blowtorch until it's drum tight. And that ought to make this the aerodynamic, fuel-efficient bike of our dreams.
An aerodynamic bike of their dreams, and all by reducing a little thing called drag.
Now, we know that the motorcycle is less aerodynamic than a car, and that is because of drag. The best way to visualize drag is to take a look at this clip. You see the ink floating behind the vehicle? That is a low-pressure bubble of air that the vehicle has to drag around because it's not properly aerodynamic. Our thinking is that the smooth front and sharp tail of our fairing will allow the motorcycle to slice through the air, spending less of its energy driving and saving fuel. If we're able to save enough fuel, the emissions might finally dip below that of the cars.
That's looking great, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's cooling down right now.
That's when it shrinks, huh?
Yeah.
And in no time at all, the fairing is skinned.
That is really, really pretty. That just looks freaking awesome.
That was worth the wait.
The fairing is finally complete, and just as the guys anticipated, the bike looks like a teardrop crossed with a comet.
It's like giving birth, but in reverse. Lowering the back hatch now.
Okay.
What do you think?
It's not at all uncomfortable once you're in here.
That's great.
Not at all uncomfortable, but its real test will be on the road. It's a given that if something's aerodynamic, it'll slice through the air better. But does making a bike more streamlined also mean it'll become greener than its four-wheel counterparts?
We've coned out the Alameda runway, and it is going to be our closed course for motorcycle testing today.
940.
We're going to use it to replicate the exact same conditions of freeway and city driving we had for the first round of vehicle testing. Jamie's going to start out on the motorcycle and do 7 laps all the way down to the end of the runway and back, which gives us 15 miles of freeway driving just like we want. This is both the start line and the finish line after a bunch of laps. Then I've marked out a little city course of some stop-and-go traffic, and that Jamie has to do 25 laps of to give us the 7.5 miles of city driving we need, and that should give us a set of comparable numbers. No city course is complete without signage, and we've got signage. Heinemann Crossing. The course is fully set. We are ready to test. All we're waiting is for Jamie to arrive on his shiny new motorcycle. And here he comes now. On a steel horse, he rides. You know he's wanted dead or alive.
Yep, first is the baseline for the bike without its fairing. But before Jamie gets on his bike, why did he choose it for the Beat the Car test?
The name of the game here was to find a motorcycle that is as environmentally friendly as anything currently available on the market. That means it needs to be of relatively small displacement, fuel injected, have a catalytic converter, and any other pollution controls available on motorcycles as of this date. So that's why we've selected this bike. It's a 250cc late model single-cylinder motorcycle that meets all of those qualifications.
And once again, the PEMS will sniff out all its emissions for this baseline test.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, remember, 7 big laps, 25 small ones. I'll be counting them down. Here we go, late model, low displacement bike test, and 3, 2, 1, go!
Oops.
One more time. In 3, 2, 1, go! And now we wait.
First off, Jamie goes round in circles at 50 miles per hour for 15 miles of freeway driving.
Now it's time for some city driving.
Then he's in the loop for the city conditions, complete with a stop sign and a 25 mile per hour speed limit. Finally, after looping both loops for 30 minutes in the saddle,
Now, it's the finish line.
it's time to get a readout on the control data.
The results are in. We have our baseline for our modern bike. The good news is that it's the most fuel-efficient bike we've tested by far, and it gave the cars the best run for their money we've yet achieved. The bad news, its dangerous emissions are still surprisingly high. Will our aerodynamic fairing increase the fuel efficiency, and will the increase in that fuel efficiency dilute the dangerous gases? I don't know, but it's time to bring out the bubble.
The bubble bike is ready for testing. Same track, same speed. Let's see how it stacks up.
Their pimped-out ride should reduce the drag on the bike and make it far more fuel efficient, and thereby minimize its harmful emissions.
Now it's time to put my money where my mouth is and see whether this thing does what it was designed to do, which is to improve the aerodynamic efficiency of this motorcycle and hence reduce its impact on the planet. Hopefully it'll do that and I won't crash or something in the process.
Oh, the prototype approaches. Are you ready for this?
I am, all set.
All right, on the green flag. Bubble bike in 3, 2, 1, go! Restart. Bubble bike test in 3, 2, 1, go! That's the second time you popped the clutch on the starting line.
After an identical start, it's an identical course, starting with a pedal-to-the-metal blast of freeway driving.
Lap 1 is away. You know those old films of like people trying to take off of cliffs and flying machines and they crash when they land? That's exactly what that thing looks like.
I'm getting to like this.
Then it's science fiction in motion as Jamie puts the bubble through its city driving paces.
It's getting kind of hot in here.
All right, Jamie, this is your last lap. Last lap.
And with that, Jamie's bubbly ride comes to an end.
Nice work, man. You are done. How'd that feel?
This thing is crazy, but I kind of like it.
I'll tell you, it looks like a weird kind of primordial airplane every time it takes off down the lane. It's gorgeous.
This thing really made me nervous at first because you can really feel the wind, a little gust, and it kind of pushes you sideways. But after a while, I started to dig it because it doesn't involve the kind of buffeting that you normally have on a motorcycle. You know, you're going down the road like this, and this thing is just smooth as butter. Occasionally, you kind of glide a little this way or that way if there's a strong wind, but it seems to work quite well. The only question here is whether it takes less power to push it through the air, and that, from inside here, I can't really tell. We'll have to let the computer tell us.
Indeed, finally it's down to the emissions data to either confirm or burst this eco-bubble.
I wish we had a second bike, then we could ride the two of them off into the sunset, you know?
Sure, why not? Like the sign says, it's crunch time. Let's have a look at the numbers.
All right, let's take a look and see how we did in the fuel economy category.
Well, the fairing bike did pretty well. It got 70.9 miles per gallon.
It's the best across the board. Now, I would expect, because of the increase in fuel efficiency, to see a corresponding drop in carbon dioxide emissions. Let's call up the carbon dioxide chart and see how we did.
And there you go, 105 grams. That's a fraction of everything else on the chart.
That is fantastic. Now I'd like to see how we did in all of the other emissions. Let's call up the last chart. Oh.
Not so good.
It is solidly in the middle, and the cars are still winning hands down.
Yep.
Where does that leave us?
Well, you know, it's tricky because if you look at CO2 alone, the bikes win by a large margin.
But if you look at all the other pollutants, then the cars are far better for the environment.
I think it's got to be busted, and here's why. Over time, cars have made a remarkable improvement very steadily. And the bikes, well, the bikes have gotten better, but not near as much.
Yep. I agree. At this point in time, it is not better for the environment to trade your car for a bike.